Good day, ladies and gentlemen, or probably more a bunch of gentlemen and maybe one or two women on my channel, or people that come across the internet that actually like these kind of videos. And to you, as well as all the gentlemen, I say welcome to this video. It's been a while since I've had a CCNA or Cisco related topic at all, and I'd like to preface this by saying that it's kind of late at night and it's a weekend, so that was me opening a Blue Moon, brought to you by Blue Moon. It's actually my favorite beer of choice. I highly recommend it. Anyways, guys, back to the video here. It's going to be a long video, and again, to preface this, I want you guys to be sure you guys are watching it in, full screen. So, because I obviously have my entire desktop here, so I am not going to be doing much of zooming in, zooming out on Camtasia. So I think it's best that we just do it this way. That way you can see the workbook, which is going to be here on the left side. This is actually a free CCNA, CCNP workbook. This is for the switch exam, but the reason it's free is because it was actually for the old BCMSN exam. A lot of the stuff here is still good, and on this side I obviously have my console. Not my console of choice, but it's what I use in my lab, and it works good enough, and I haven't had any problems with it, so yeah, that's why I use it. So other than that, yeah, there might be some noise because I have my servers running in the background as well as my switches, and my keyboard is a little clanky, but I don't think that'll bother you all too much. And I might be adjusting my mic and headset, so I'll start off by saying I apologize for that. Okay, so I've actually done a lot of the lab already. I might put a link in the description if I remember to find this book here, this workbook. It's absolutely free, and it's not illegal or anything. They have actually allowed us to download it and get it. Pretty much, I guess it's so that we can purchase their other stuff, later on. So as you can see, it's for BCMSN. I've already done I think 1.1 through 1.8. At this point, you notice that there's ISL trunk ports, which are no longer in the switch exam. And then down here is what I really want to get into later on, is the high availability stuff. So I'm just about ready to go ahead and dive into here, and so let me just go ahead and find that page I was in. That's pretty close by. Okay, so again, I'm not going to post a video on how to do anything before this. I just decided to turn on my camera and go ahead and start recording now, because I think I have enough time to actually go through this, and hopefully I can talk the whole time while I'm actually doing the labs. And because of that, I'm going to be taking a sip of Blue Moon every now and then. Okay, so let's go into spanning tree protocol. Okay, now that the network is functioning in a stable manner, the design team has been monitoring traffic patterns in order to optimize layer 2 traffic flows. Specifically, they have found a recent increase in traffic flows through VLANs 10 and 20, with the majority of 10 traffic transiting through the headquarters 1 office, and the majority of the VLAN 20 traffic transiting through HQ2 office. In order to alleviate congestion, the design team has asked you to do the following: add an additional 802.1q trunk link between switch 1 and switch 2 using port 14 on both switches. Okay, and alright, so let's go ahead and do that first. Now I do have my switches here, and I'm going to go ahead and take a look at them. I don't think that I have configured that additional link yet, so switch 1 and 2 on port 14, no, I have not. So let me go ahead and just go grab a crossover cable and go ahead and plug it in. So give me a few moments. I told you there'd be a lot of microphone and headset moving around. Let me adjust that. Okay, so here I got my crossover cable, and on my switch 1, port 14, just clicked it in, and on switch 2 of the same port 14, just plugged it in. So now I have that the trunk, well, not the trunk, but just the connection there. So I wish there was a way that I could fit in the diagram here, but let me just go up, and essentially this is a case. Right here from switch 1 to switch 2, I'm adding a second trunk link. Right now I have a trunk link between switch 1 and switch 2, but I guess I'm going to just add another one. So what page was I on? 20, no, Ether channel. That's probably coming up soon. Okay. Okay, so let me just go ahead and configure that trunk link. So switch 1 and switch 2. Okay, so let's go ahead and go to configure terminal and interface fast Ethernet 0/14. I know that it's already up, but I'm just going to go ahead and do a set, no shut. Go in switch port mode, trunk. Interface encapsulation is auto and cannot be configured to trunk mode. Switch port mode, dynamic, desirable. Then switch port mode, trunk is auto. An interface whose trunk encapsulation is auto cannot be configured to trunk. Let's go ahead and look at that. Well, why? I've never gotten that before. Show run include begin with interface fast Ethernet. Show run fast Ethernet. Okay, I configured it to desirable, which is what it should be. I'm not sure why that's happening, so let me go ahead and just go into that interface again. Interface fast 0/14. Let me just go ahead and shut it down, and then just do switch port mode trunk. The command rejected. An interface whose trunk encapsulation is auto cannot be configured. Oh, the encapsulation. Okay, my bad. No shut. It's because I'm so used to not having to type the encapsulation, but of course you, in some switches, depending on what switch it is and the image you have, you might have to put the encapsulation. So I'm going to put switch port trunk encapsulation, and it's going to be a .1Q. You see, this image here is an older image and has ISL. So I'm just going to go ahead and select .1Q. And now switch port mode trunk will work just fine. So now we got that trunk link going across, at least on one side. And on this other side, switch 2. I'm not sure why this one here is timing out. The others don't time out. Let me do a show run, and then section VTY. There's no section command here. I'm just so used to getting on the routers. Include the VTY lines. Section is just such a useful command. Let's show run. Ooh, what? Show. There you go. Let me look at the VTY line here. And apparently there's a no. Okay, I need to fix that for sure. configure terminal, and VTY line VTY 0 through 4, and I need logging synchronous. I need exec timeout 0 0. Let's go ahead and write that. Okay. Configure terminal, and let's go ahead and go to the interface. Fast Ethernet 0/14, and switch port trunk incap .1q, switch port mode trunk. Alright, so now we have that trunk, and to verify we use the command here called show interface trunk command, and the trunk still isn't up here for some reason. Let's give it a second. Maybe on the other side, switch port mode trunk, switch core. Did I have it was on no shut, so let me did not expect to have all this trouble already. Show IP interface brief. Let's go ahead and look at 14 is administratively down, so I guess I shut it down, not sure why. Interface fast Ethernet 0/14, and go ahead and do a no shut. And once that happens, change to up, show show interface trunk, and there it is. Desirable. Now it's mode on, so I actually do want to change that here to dynamic desirable. So interface, and the reason I'm doing that is because it was a requirement in a previous section. So switch port mode dynamic desirable, and then let me just go ahead and write that, and then let me go ahead and do show interface trunk here, and all of these are on. Switch port. Maybe I was wrong about that. I'm not sure why these are all desirable and these are not. I think there was like I did run into some issues earlier regarding that because of the ISL stuff, and with ISL they told me to do a certain command, and since I thought I didn't have ISL, and there's really no point. Oh, one thing here that this reminded me is that I need to configure the native VLAN to be 666, and that actually is a requirement. It's not just me being mischievous here. So 0/14, and switch port mode, or switch port trunk native VLAN 666. Okay, and we're gonna go over to that same interface fast 0/14, and switch port trunk native VLAN 666. Show interface trunk, and there's 666, and as long as we don't see a mismatch it should be okay. So there's no mismatch, so we are fine. Okay, so that's one bullet point. Alright, it says modify the spanning tree for modify the spanning tree. I haven't even created spanning tree yet. Or, well, technically spanning tree is running by default, so I guess that's what it means. So show spanning tree. It is running by default. So what's it asking me to do here? Modify, oh, excuse me, jeez. modify the spanning tree for VLAN 10 as follows. So VLAN 10, we want switch 1 to be the root bridge, and we want switch 2 to be the backup root, and switch 2 should select port FA0/14 as a root port instead of /13. Okay then, let's go ahead and start that. So conf t. Okay, so spanning tree. Let's go ahead and take a look at what we got there. Spanning tree VLAN 10 is what we need to modify, and we're going to make this the root primary. So that's the primary, and secondary is going to be switch 2. So let's go ahead and do spanning tree VLAN 10. This is going to be a root, and notice that here we have secondary. So it configures the priority to a slightly larger number than the primary number. So there you go. And so let's go ahead and go to show spanning. Show spanning VLAN 10. So here you see that we are this is the root's priority and this is our priority. Notice how it's a little larger. So this is the priority and it's connected to port 13, so we know switch 1. And now here is what we need to change. As you can see, the root port here is 13, and it's the alternate here is 14. So what it wants us to do is to select port 14 as the root port instead of 13. So some of the ways that you can do that is by modifying the cost, or you can modify the priority number. So it's really up to you what you want to do. Since the costs are the same in this case, I'm just going to keep the cost the same and change the priority number, and I'm going to change this one to like 64 or something like that. So I think you have to do that at the interface level. So interface fast 0/14. So let's see here. Spanning tree port priority, port priority, and then yeah, so here we can make it 64, and I think that's the end of the command. Yes. So let's go ahead and do a show spanning tree, and let's look at 10 here. And is that not going to change, or I wonder whether it's because I need no. Well, let's try this again. Okay, there you go. You see how it's transitioning, forwarding, and then listening. So hopefully, let's do this again. I was getting a little impatient thinking this was a rapid spanning tree when it's not. You see that 14 went away here on VLAN 10. 14 isn't there for some reason. Let's do show spanning again. Oh man, I did it for every VLAN. That's not what it asked. Okay, I need to go back. I need to set this back to 128. Yeah, because I don't want to do it for every VLAN, only for VLAN. So spanning tree VLAN 10, and then port priority here, and let's make that 64. Okay, so that was a close one there. Let's do a show spanning tree again. Show spanning. Okay, still in the blocking state, so let's give that a little time here. Show spanning tree VLAN 10. It doesn't seem to want to change from the as an alternate port, so I think that maybe, just maybe, the priority isn't going to break the tie here. So I'm thinking that I'm going to have to change the cost of the port here. So yeah, I think that's what I'm going to have to do. It doesn't seem to be changing. So let's go ahead and let's do interface fast 0/14, and then let's set this back to 128. Spanning tree 10, and then instead let's do the cost. And let's make the cost of this I don't know, like 12 or something. And then, so what we're doing here is we're modifying the cost. So we'll show spanning tree VLAN 10, and now the cost here. Okay, you see now we've transitioned this. There you go. Yeah, that was pretty quick too. We transitioned this to a cost of 12, which I guess a priority number. I guess a cost would. I don't know. I guess I need to reread exactly how this works. I thought priority number would also be a factor here, but I think, I don't know. I definitely need to reread this. So cost is what I had to change, and now as you can see, the fast Ethernet 0/14 is the root port, and 13 is the alternate port, and that's exactly what we wanted there. So let me just go ahead and write that config in, because that is correct. Switch. Okay, next. Let me just take a sip of my drink. Alright, modify the spanning tree for VLAN 20 as follows. Switch 2 should be the root bridge. Okay, so let's make that happen, Captain. I don't know why I said that. Spanning tree VLAN 20. That did nothing. Spanning tree VLAN. We want to make it the root bridge, so root primary. Good. And okay, so conf t enter spanning tree VLAN 20 root secondary. It's going to be the backup root bridge, and switch 1 it's going to do something similar, so show spanning tree. Let's do a show spanning tree VLAN 20. Okay, so here we go. We have we want 14 to be the root port and 13 to not be the root port. So essentially we're going to do the same thing. So hopefully we learned from our last thing there that interface fast 0/14 spanning tree VLAN 20, and we want the cost to be I don't know, what did we have last time? 12. So let's make it 12, and let's go ahead and show that same command there, and there you go. So there we go. We have port 14 here in a listening state, already designated as the root port. Let's go ahead and run it again, and it's still, now it's in the learning state, which is the next state. and a couple seconds more and it should be forwarding. Couple more seconds. There you go. So now we're forwarding and we should be good. So let's go ahead and write. And right. By the way, the write command, I'm not even sure if it's supported, but this is what you should be typing on your Cisco exams. You should, if it allows you to save the config, which you should save the config if it allows you to, you need to do a copy run start. So you copy the running config to the starting config, and get used to doing that because this is the official way, but write is just so much easier to do. Alright, so verify that the correct layer 2 traffic is forwarding by examining the CAM table of these switches. The CAM table. Show. I actually don't know how to show the CAM table. That's actually something that I have to look up. So let's go ahead and go down here. And I'm gonna be frank with you guys. Like there's things in here that like I've never seen or I just don't remember, and you know there's nothing wrong with you just playing around in there for a little bit, or if you've never seen it before, there's nothing wrong with just going over and then just just looking at the answers. The answers are right here, and that's what they're there for. They're so you can reference if you ever get stuck. So I don't want to hear it from people saying that I don't know what I'm doing, because that's mostly true, but sometimes I do know what I'm doing. So there's no shame in looking for the answers. Okay. Hopefully I'm not scrolling out for too much longer here. My God, how much longer am I going to be doing this? Oh, there it is. Spanning tree protocol. Okay, we got that. Okay, and now it asks us to show the CAM table. Is it really just a show MAC address? Oh, the CAM table by comparing layer 3 ARP on the end host and the layer 2 CAM table on the switches, the actual forwarding paths determined by spanning tree can be verified. Okay, so let's just right here it just has a show ARP command, so let's just show ARP, and we have just this one here, and I think it's because we actually haven't pinged our neighbor here. So once we ping him, now our show ARP, there you go. So in case you all didn't know that, if you look in your ARP table and you don't see your other neighbors, it's probably because you haven't had any communication with that neighbor. What you need to do is ping them or somehow communicate with them, and then go ahead and show the ARP again, and there you'll go ahead and see that So let's go ahead and right here we have our, of course it's going to be different, and then go to switch 1 here, and then go to show MAC address. Okay, so it's just a MAC address table. Okay, I thought that's what it was, but I wasn't sure. So VLAN 20. Maybe I should have just shown the dynamics. That's probably could have been the better thing to show, but that's fine. Alright, 14 here, 14 and 14. So let's go to 5 here. It's hardware address of C204, I guess. C204, it's right there. So that's fine. So it's I guess it's determined by spanning tree can be verified. Forwarding paths can be determined. Okay, I guess it just confirms that that the path of spanning tree is verified. So let's go ahead and as a solution. So okay, spanning tree. Okay, now we move on to the rapid spanning tree, and I am debating whether or not I should cut this video. Yeah, I think I'm going to cut this video off about right now, and we'll continue with rapid VLAN spanning tree in the next video. But I'm going to be here, and I'm going to go ahead and record the video right now that I'm here and I'm studying. So thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you all next time.